Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
Good morning, Companies to Watch with Dan Co. Good morning.
Morning, Ryan. How's Monday looking for the short week?
Looking pretty good, actually. Lots to look forward to, and I think we are heading into this week with a bit of good news from Donald Trump saying he's going to exempt smartphones and laptops and so on from tariffs until I don't know when, but these things are fluid.
Yeah, I think if anything, the pause and exemptions from Trump, that might provide some much needed relief after a couple of very, very volatile sessions the past few weeks. But welcome to Companies to Watch. That's a segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that will call for your attention. So we're looking at market trends to risks as well as hidden gems or warning signs to steer clear of. 8855-0893. Be part of the conversation and text us whether you think it's going to be hot or not. You ready, right?
Let's go.
All right, we're turning to the world's first dedicated semiconductor foundry. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Founded back in 1987, TSMC is a dedicated independent semiconductor manufacturing foundry that's based in Taiwan's Silicon Valley, the Hsinchu Science-based industrial park. You're quite familiar with this term, right, Ryan?
Yeah, it is the world's largest contract manufacturer as well, which means they make chips for everyone across the device world, basically.
Yeah, and of course, this is definitely one name to watch out for if you are dabbling within the space of semiconductor. And the reason why I've brought this company up today is because they've recently revealed their quarterly revenue, which rose a larger than expected 42%, reflecting strengthening demand for AI servers and smartphones before the US tariffs kicked in. Now, the main chip maker for Apple and Nvidia reported revenue of about 34 billion Singapore dollars in the first 3 months of this year. That came in way higher than estimates, and of course, the company will report their first full quarter earnings report on April the 17th. That's a couple of days from now. An outlook of the current quarter as well as the full year. Now, based on what we're seeing so far, that results of about a $34 billion revenue actually marked TSMC's fastest pace of growth since 2022. And it's all thanks to the advances in the AI from the likes of Apple and Nvidia, which have helped to offset the tapering of the pandemic-led demand of chips used in consumer electronics like tablets. So it also comes as electronics manufacturers had stockpiled goods in U.S. warehouses in anticipation of potential trade and shipping disruptions. But, Ryan, here's a caveat. Some analysts are warning that TSMC might have to cut its full-year revenue target for the growth in the mid-20% range, reflecting global uncertainty and the potential hit to economies. Now, mid-20% range, it does still seem like a good range to be at, but within the lines of tech, I think this is a little bit underwhelming, would you say?
Well, it's still quite encouraging because you have still growth momentum going strong. Then you have all these things helping TSMC, Apple making their own chips, and they need someone to pretty much manufacture and go through all the processes. So Apple's one of the big customers, and I think a lot of other tech companies are looking to design and make their own chips. So TSMC is in a pretty sweet spot. So my only question right now is whether this, or to what degree the front loading on some of these contracts have been factored in because we have the tariffs, and maybe some of these people have been trying to make more before these taxes kick in.
That's right. If you've just read the news over the weekend or the past few weeks, we're seeing Americans rush to pick up Apple's iPhone device, fearing it may raise prices to cover the additional costs. The outlook is also overshadowed by Trump's threat to slap tariffs on semiconductor imports. But as like what you've said earlier, it's unclear on when and whether that may happen. But news of Trump, reporting overnight on his popular social media channel saying that apparently nobody's getting off the hook, Ryan, after his Sunday golf game. He apparently posted that, the exempted products are just moving to a different tariff bucket, and that the administration will be taking a look at semiconductors and the whole electronics supply chain separately. So that's certainly one to watch. And on top of that, Ryan, President Donald Trump also said that he told TSMC, which has pledged to build new factories in the U.S., that it would have to pay a tax of up to 100% if it did not build its plants in the country. So that followed a recent remarks of Trump saying that there's a 32% import tax on Taiwanese goods, which currently excludes semiconductors, but since has been paused. On top of that, we're also seeing Americans' share of global chip manufacturing dwindling to just about 12%, while TSMC alone produces over 90% of the world's most advanced processors, which explains why Trump is reacting to the way he is now. And this dependency certainly does terrifies US, particularly as China makes its strides in semiconductor self-sufficiency. And it also marks the latest escalation in Washington's increasingly desperate bid to resurrect domestic semiconductor supremacy. But TSMC, till this day, remains the world's leader in the production of advanced conductors or semiconductors used for AI and smartphones, and that, according to analysts, one of the factors that could cushion the impact of tariffs or trade disruptions. So with that, I suppose, at least for now, I'm still going to go with a hot for TSMC. What would you say?
Yeah, it's got a pretty dominant position, and it's got plans to make more factories in the US, 5 of them, with a $100 billion plan. It's been criticized as well from some corners, including former Taiwanese President Ma Ying-jeou calling it a protection fee. Yeah, but for now, there is a lot of tailwinds, at least when it comes to demand. So I am on the hot bandwagon.
Riding on the AI trend, of course. We're seeing tip ranks, Yahoo and Barron's as of the 14th of April, still giving it a buy rating on TSMC. And that's all we have for our stock in focus for today. Now, Ryan, you know that TSMC is actually one of the few companies capable of producing 2-nanometer chips that's smaller than a virus particle. Now, to put it into perspective, right, your fingernail grows faster in an hour than the width of one of these transistors. That's pretty cool, huh?
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing how they can make these things.
Yeah. So why did the computer eat a bag of chips?
It was hungry?
It needed a bite. Okay, what's an electrician's favorite snack?
Circuits?
Microchips.
All right.
And that's all we have for TSMC.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.